It's insane that the Resident Evil franchise has been going on for 30 years now, and they still find some way to make this series with every new entry unique. Though granted, this series has seen quite a bit of lows, I'm happy to see this game revitalize itself, and now in the 9th entry, I can say that this game is up there for me as one of, if not the best in the entire series. This is a spoiler-free review, so when it comes to story beats, I will try to keep it short, but Resident Evil 9, like some previous games, has two protagonists. Grace Ashcroft, an FBI agent who has not experienced in the unfortunate craziness that the Resident Evil franchise is known to have. And we also see the return of the amazing Leon S. Kennedy. Starting off with Grace, she is very much survival horror oriented, having the inventory system we saw in Resident Evil 7 and as well as in the remakes of 2 and 3. Not only that, her parts are actually tense and scary, making me feel hopeless and scared with her, not knowing what is lurking around the corner. These voice actors did an amazing job bringing Grace to life in a lot of scenes. You also really get to see her grow throughout the game, and makes me hope this isn't just a one and done adventure for her, though granted, she may want it to be. Like many survival horror tropes, item management is essential here. Playing smart and again carefully can guarantee survival when it comes to Grace's playthrough. Leon, on the other hand, well, he's a badass. He is the more suited veteran here, being able to parry attacks like in the Resident Evil 4 remake, but this version of Leon, I would say, is the best way that Leon has ever felt. Him being known as a veteran, he has gone through so many adventures, and the fact that the devs recognize this is amazing. His axe needing to be repaired in the same vein as the knife system that he had in 4 remake, he now comes suited with a sharpening stone so he can always replenish the durability of his axe. These stylish moves, the way he uses weapons, gives me the feeling of his moveset from Resident Evil 6, funny enough. And him being able to do melee attacks and the way his inventory system works just gives me Resident Evil 4 vibes. Like, the devs really put a lot of love and respect into him. Leon is essentially the best of all 3 of his previous adventures, and playing as him gives off a nice refreshing feeling of control, mowing down zombies compared to Grace's tense moments. Seeing the cutscenes in this game and the story unfolding, Capcom really put a lot of details in everything. Whether characters are wearing certain apparels or costumes, the devs actually changed the way cutscenes would look. Other things that can affect some things the player won't be able to see is if you are playing in first person or in third person. For example, if you are playing in first person with Grace, you won't be seeing her tumbling and falling, but if you were to pick in third person, you will of course be able to see those details. If you are a fan like myself of the series, there is so much lore and even references to past games as well here. So, with that being said, what is the story about? I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a somewhat quick rundown, but again, no major spoilers here. This is just going to be just a very basic telling of the story. Victor Gideon, being a baddie, kidnaps Grace, and it is now up to Leon to discover as to why, and as well, since the cat is out of the bag, why Leon is showing symptoms of a potential infection he may have. You will be returning to Raccoon City and as well as other locations to find out what is going on. And that is pretty much all that I will give you guys. And as a Resident Evil lore junkie, all I can really say is that Capcom really did cook with this one. If you are a longtime fan, or even if this is your very first Resident Evil game, you are really going to find enjoyment in the story. Now, the way that I experience this game is with the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. So, how is it? Did Capcom do a good job with this port? Well, the one thing that I do want to go ahead and clarify here is that this isn't a port. This is a actual one-to-one comparison to all the other versions of the game. The only issues is, of course, the overall resolution and frame rates, but playing this game while docked, it actually played beautifully the entire time. It really wasn't until the end game area in one spot where the frame rates would really dip, but other than that, it ran flawlessly. The issues that I did have, however, was in regard to handheld mode. It does get pretty choppy at times, but majority of it was again in the endgame portion. Frame rates and resolution would drop significantly, where I kind of was thinking that they should have made a 30 FPS mode via handheld, or even a 40 FPS performance mode or something like that in that regard. Kind of in the same vein as Cyberpunk 2077. Maybe in a future update, but besides that, it still was pretty playable, but again, just annoying to run into those issues. I really see the Switch 2 version to be the one to get if you are a busy adult who needs to play majority of the time in handheld, or if the Switch 2 is the only system you own. Other negatives, if I can think of any, is maybe some exclusive options for the Switch 2 would have been nice, like adding gyro control support, or even mouse mode would be nice, but the experience here doesn't get ruined not having those features. One big thing that I personally will say is that there is no ranking for completing the game. Typically in the recent Resident Evil games, you will be getting a ranking of either an S or an A or a B ranking depending on how you did in your playthrough. For example, saving a lot can make the rank go down, or taking a long time in completing the game can also affect it. Here though, in 9, there isn't anything like that, which, with the way the game is structured, I suppose it does make sense, but I would have loved to see that feature be implemented. Regardless, the fact that Capcom was able to deliver a brand new numbered title day and day with all the other versions on Nintendo is amazing, and Capcom are killing it, and not only with a bunch of their gaming franchises they are working on, but the tremendous effort and support to the Nintendo Switch 2. If you own a Switch 2, and if it's the only way for you to experience this masterclass game, then do it. This really is a great experience, but overall, Resident Evil Requiem gets a 10 out of 10 from me. But yeah, I even actually wanted to give this game a 9 out of 10, but going back and forth and just thinking about it again and actually finishing the game again for the second time made me realize that this game is just perfect. It's really good and it's a lot of fun, and I enjoyed every single second that I get to experience this game, whether that's me playing as Grace or even as Leon. I enjoyed my time every single time. The only other issues that I can actually even think of that I would like to see them remedy, and again, I feel like it can be easily solved in potential updates and stuff, it's just certain areas in the game for handheld mode. If they can go ahead and update a little bit of the frame rates there in certain spots, but even then, it still wasn't bad and it still was playable. In fact, my second playthrough of Resident Evil Requiem on the Switch 2 was actually fully on handheld mode. So I'm happy to say that honestly, if you're somebody that is worried that the Switch 2 cannot handle this game via handheld, you have nothing to worry about. So you can still have a full-on fun experience with this game in handheld mode. So please stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support recently. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.